All right, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to scan your piece. Okay, so I have walked you through some troubleshooting, and now we're actually going to scan our first art piece here. So you will see some different things happening on my screen. Don't worry, I'll make sure that you know exactly what's going on. So right now, what you can't see off screen is that I'm loading my image into my scanner. And then I'm going to go ahead and press my photo button here. Make sure that your scanner's plugged into your dongle, plugged into your computer, plugged into the back of the scanner, and that it's unlocked. Then you're going to lightly press your hand, as I showed you in the previous video, on your image, and you're going to click this button right here that says photo. As I click that button, you can see that it's then searching for the scanner, and now it's telling me don't open the document cover because it's in the midst of scanning that image. So I have my scans set to open automatically so that I can see if the file is good or if I need to rescan. Sometimes we don't have a scan that works very well, and that's okay. We can go ahead and just try it again. So it's going to take a bit of time. It takes, a few seconds. There you go. It's now finishing up its scan. And now it's going to open up where that image is. You can see in the previous video, I showed you that it was going to go into scans, right? And here is the scan of that. And then I also have a file folder in my scans of the adjusted scans. So let's go ahead and open that up to make it a little bit larger, just so that we can see it a bit better and see if that's okay. So we can see that there's a bit of what they call burning right here, and a little bit right here. So some of this I can clean up in Affinity, and some of it I might not be able to. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to reposition this a little bit further onto the plate so that I don't maybe hopefully get as much of that darkness at the top. As long as my paper can fit on both sides, my scan's going to be okay, right? So we're going to click the X off there. And I always make sure that I move to trash if I don't like something. And then we're going to click that. So I'm going to make the adjustments on my page. And I can kind of see why. When I open my scanner, I can see that there's one side of my paper, because it's watercolor paper, that's a little bit higher up. So now I know where to sort of place my hand as that's scanning, just to press that down a little bit more. So I'm going to rescan this, and I'm putting a little bit more pressure on the one side I know that's going to be up, on my watercolor paper. The other option is you could put a few heavy books on here too. So go ahead and test that out to see if that works better for you. I found that generally putting my hand or my arm sort of like across it and just kind of holding it down was helpful in just connecting the paper to the scanner itself. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. I can already tell that some of it is much better than the first one. So you can see we don't have as dark all throughout this part and or all throughout that part. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this a little bit more closely, just double check. Mostly I'm caring about my artwork itself. Does it look good? Does it look crisp and clean? Can I see these colors really well? Which I can, right? So the white part, I'm not really worried about that as much because I can definitely edit that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in my Finder window here, and I think it's under Tools. Ah, yeah, Tools. And then I'm going to just rotate it. I think it's to the left. Nope, wrong way. Tools, rotate again, and one more time. There we go. So I want it obviously facing this direction. And if I make my screen go back out, then you can see that. So I want it in that direction. Also, you're going to see that there's like this little scanner bar that showed up right here. Don't worry about that. I'll be able to fix that inside of Affinity. And then also here, this is where the end of the scanner bed is, compared to where my image was. So I'll be able to also fix that. Now, I personally like the fact that, like, in my image, I can see the actual like watercolor texture of the paper. So if you don't like that, that's okay, and you can totally edit that inside of the Affinity Designer, or you can remove your background and other things. I'll show you some of those after. So I'm going to do this one more time and I'm going to show it to you with something heavy on top of the scanner, just so that you can see sort of a little bit what that would look like. So let me grab some books and place those on the scanner, and then I'll show you the difference. So give me uno segundo. Okay, so now I've placed something heavy on top of the scanner. I needed to grab it from behind me. And I'm gonna save that because I want to show you the difference between the two. So I'm actually gonna open that up. So we're gonna have that on one side, and then I'll show you the difference on the other side. Okay, so let's go back to our Canon scanner. We're going to go ahead and click photo, and we're going to let it scan with the heavy thing on top, and we'll see how that works. So sometimes you just have to test different things out to see what works better for your particular painting. Because my paintings are on watercolor paper, I'm expecting that I'm going to have shadowing, which is essentially what you were seeing on the paper part itself, where it was just white, not in where the colors were. That's kind of sort of what I call shadowing. And most of that we'll be able to clean up in Affinity, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so now here we have our image that is, I'm gonna flip it so that we have it the same direction. So window, oh, sorry, tools, rotate right, there we go. And now what I'm gonna do is put these side by side for you so we can see and decide which one do we like better and which one do we not like better, right? Okay, so you can see in this one right here, we still have the black, we still have some of that grainy grayishness, I guess is what you would call it. So I'm gonna open this one up too. So maybe not that. But what you can see when I put the heavy thing on, you can see that this is a little bit lighter. And also I think maybe the gold's a little bit crisper. So let me just put those side by side. And you can see that maybe that dark area isn't as dark, but this one seems a bit more prominent to me. Um, and then let's go ahead and move it to the other side so we can see the opposite side now. Okay, there we go. Okay, and so then if we look at this side, I think this side turned out better with the heavy object on it. And yeah, I really like how the blues turned out here. So just make your decision yourself. I think either of these is good, to be honest. There's not that much of a difference, really, when you think about it, as you compare them. So you can make your own choice there. I also do like how this is a bit more crisper on this version. So choose which version you want to go with, and then I'll see you in the next video where we're going to go ahead and start to put some of this together into something that we can use a little bit further.